What is someone extremely popular that you utterly despise? These posts on all social media sites that are like your second friend has to do X that are just prompting you to tag people who don't want to be tagged, to drive up engagement on whatever shitfuck page put the post out. In the same vein, obvious scam posts about giving away a house, no one fucking does that, and shit like how old will you be in 2060 / your mother's maiden name and the first letter of your birth month are your stripper name. That people somehow fall for. Might as well just give them all the shit they're scamming you for now, you obliging dickwads. Social mafia. That's an interesting typo. It conjures up images of the mafia, and social media hive mind often acts the mafia, hyping up an individual's past transgressions and harassing and intimidating them until they are fired and or quit from what they doing, not unlike the mob intimidating people and businesses until they pay. Influencer, someone who uses their fame to influence other people. Content creator, someone who creates content. An influencer's job is to be a walking human advertisement. I feel really sad for them tbh. Must be a really empty life to live, and the long-term effects of letting corporations decide about your identity and personality for money must be pretty devastating. In a few decades we're gonna start seeing a lot of mental issues develop among the first generation of influencers. The majority aren't getting much money, really. The sad part about it is that the first few big-name influencers really did earn their pay. They had talent and went about it like business people. But in the process of doing so they made it look so easy and fun that far too many teens think not only that they can do it themselves but that they should. And that the money's just out there waiting to be had. That's what I think people really hate about influencers, I think. FR. I've seen some amazing things on YouTube and Instagram and they don't get paid shit for that. I've had people ask me if I get paid for my stuff and it always makes me realize why TF am I doing this, when I could just rip my shirt off and get 5 mil likes. Really annoying, dumping hours and hours into writing, filming and editing just to get a couple people saying nice, or this looks cool. Real mood killer. This is the answer I always see for this question. Maybe because I'm not a teen anymore, I don't see the loathing of it as much. But I've heard of some people through the H3 podcast and the people they talk about seem pretty damn awful. But my guess is that it's a lot like how people hated boy bands in the 90s, but just less talent than that required, I guess. I watched the 15-minute chronology on that relationship on YouTube. Why, I have no idea, and holy shit. Even from that it looks so damn toxic and mentally destructive. Then, I got thrown down a rabbit hole of 2 other shows on in that era, Sam and Cat and Victorious, and holy hell the way Nickelodeon portrayed relationships during that era is insane. Especially Elizabeth Gillies' character, Jade, on Victorious. I'm probably missing a bit, but the clips they chose for her and Levin Jojia's character, Beck, don't make it seem that much healthier than the one on iCarly. If I ever do a open mic I have a joke about Drake. The man came to my hometown, of about 1,000 people, all cousins probably, to film. Started from the bottom in our local Shoppers Drug Mart. The whole town crowded the Shoppers just to see him filming. He's a douche. First he booked the entire local restaurant and then when seeing it was a small town shithole bailed on the reservation. Restaurant in shambles. He then proceeds to either frame that he came from the bottom, Degrassi High didn't pay him well enough I guess, and that working at the local drug mart was the bottom. Other rappers have been shot or had to peddle drugs. This man got an employee discount on chips and condoms. I applied to work there. Didn't even get an interview. I'm sure they're nice people. Don't know if you've seen Virginia and Dave Grohl's From Cradle to Stage, but the first episode is on Dan Reynolds, the lead singer of Imagine Dragons. I'm not terribly big on their music, but watching that episode gave me a massive appreciation of just how awesome Dan and the band are. He was raised in a Mormon household in Las Vegas, and yet is a massive supporter of the LGBTQ community. He's one of the founders of the Love Loud Festival, which raises awareness of that community and benefits charities that work with LGBTQ youth. They just want the Mormon community to be more accepting and open toward LGBTQ individuals. I thought TikTok was dumb for a really long time. I ended up downloading it during COVID and I did actually enjoy it. Definitely, like most social media, it is pretty mindless. One thing though that I did not realize is how massive it is and how many different kinds of videos there are. Yes, there is a lot of really dumb and annoying stuff on there, but I watched like gardening videos and some cooking stuff and stuff like that, not weird dances and whatever. Roasting other people. I just don't get how being nasty or cruel for the sake of it is funny. Edit. I'm getting quite a few downvotes for this comment. Not sure if that's because people think it's not a popular opinion, or whether they just don't like my opinion. If it's the latter, I'm happy to agree to disagree. You can think roasting is funny, it's just that I don't. I feel like it's just people being mean and that it's kinda immature too. There's so many amazing and hilarious comedians out there that don't roast people. I'm happy to just watch them, and you can watch anyone you like as well. I tend to agree with this. I stopped listening a while ago after the third time in as many episodes he brought up the whole fat schlubs sitting on a couch thing and how they all just get home from their jobs and just sit there. Like I drive 90 minutes each way to do a job I fucking hate with people I despise. I am so emotionally and mentally drained from that. When I'm home I just need to sit and decompress. He struck it dead lucky at the exact right time and is wealthy beyond all imagining because of it. Yes, he worked hard to get there and I don't deny him his success, but he is truly one of the 1% of people who have a dream and make it a reality, and since he started coming up it's harder than ever to actually make it, and he clearly doesn't know or doesn't care about that. It's a shame really, cause I do love his podcasts and find many of his guests fascinating, and I love the fact that he's one of the few who doesn't censor or edit them. Put it in different words, if you don't curate your audience then you are a hoarder. His audience is like a house filled with garbage, got crap everywhere. There is just one thing to it, and that is to have lots of listeners. His audience is like people that fall for McDonald's marketing and then think they are eating at a classy restaurant. It is bottom of the barrel and he despises them. And the other thing, nothing funny about the man, not his stand-up, not his junkie friends or his Big Bear stories. I'm too lazy, some irony to this, to dig it up, but Mike Judge relates a funny anecdote in an interview about when Idiocracy was in pre-production. Apparently he was trying to figure out what kind of shoes stupid people in the future would wear. Mind you, this is early 2000s. Someone showed him Crocs and he thought they were perfect but really believed that not many people would actually wear them in real life. By the time movie came out they were already a trend, much to his astonishment. How people tolerate ads in general, specifically on the internet. This is the very reason I stopped watching TV 15 years ago. I can truly not understand how anyone can even use the internet without ad blocker nowadays. Sometimes when I have to use someone else's computer I get a glimpse at how normal people see the internet with all those ads literally everywhere. Ads destroying website layouts, ads interrupting videos, ads preventing to load something before you watch them, ads loading in the background and play sound, ads starting to play videos automatically. I have no problem paying for a service to get an ad-free experience, but even on many of those subscriptions you still get shown ads. If I see something like this I will instantly cancel any subscription and turn on ad blocker, or just go the Caribbean route and download their stuff for free. Recently I heard they are pausing baseball games IRL because of the ads on TV. It blew my mind that this is an accepted practice. Taylor Swift. I have nothing against her as a person, since I don't know her. I just hate her music. It sounds like extremely generic pop and I don't understand the hype about her amazing songwriting. She released an album during the pandemic that my friends were going crazy over. They were commenting on Facebook with each other about how it was genius and they were crying to some of the songs. I tried to listen to the album to give it a try and maybe be able to add to the conversation, but all the songs sounded generic and kind of the same as each other. I came around to appreciating Taylor for two reasons: the Netflix documentary Miss Americana, which you should watch if you're not sure about her, and because I had been trying to get my 2 under 10-year-old daughters to love music as much as I did as a kid, and Taylor was finally the one who woke up their passion for music. The themes from her earlier albums don't really resonate with me, a man in my 40s, but they have to be heard in the context they were written. They were written by a young girl for her peers. They weren't necessarily meant to be enjoyed by me, but seeing my daughters enjoy them when they were previously lukewarm on nearly every other musical artist I introduced them to has helped me appreciate Taylor. The good old days, people, in general. No, 1948 was not the greatest time in history. It sucked for the same reason that all times in history suck. It may have been your glory day, but that's a specifically you thing. You making it sound like some sort of Nirvana time when everything was great is just you letting your memory blank out all the bad shit and promote the good shit that you liked. If things were better back before everybody had a damn cell phone in their hands, then people in fuck Nigeria would be the happiest people on the planet. And they aren't. If things were better back when, then people would be reverting back to that era. But they're not, because those times sucked. Just because you got your first piece of memorably good ass or got your first tax refund check, that doesn't make the year idyllic. It just means that was a good year for you. That isn't what centrism means. It's not seeking compromise or taking the middle ground on any and all political issues. It just means someone who holds a mix of views, some of which would be considered left and others right. A centrist, for example, might be socially liberal and therefore as strongly opposed to slavery as any radical, but economically conservative and opposed to high taxation or heavy regulation of free trade. Gen Z's cancel culture. People my age make me ashamed to be part of my generation, cause most of us are a bunch of whiny snowflakes who can't take a joke. I strongly believe that everything has its own place. I would accept insulting jokes in a comedy show but be against someone who would tell something derogatory in a workplace. I think that we should respect others' sense of humor. I don't go around bullying people who don't find dark humor funny, even though I have a different opinion. I wonder what makes it so tough for other people to respect each other's differences though. Basically, thanks to the internet and social media, emotionally immature people have a very loud voice and can take down companies or even people because they're incapable of accepting not everyone that doesn't share their exact worldview aren't bad people or deserving of having their livelihoods destroyed. Sometimes people have a bad day, then have an outburst in public. Sometimes someone said something years ago that has no bearing on their personality today. Sometimes people just don't realize something is wrong. Do they deserve to have an angry mob of emotionally immature teenagers and their equivalent dox them and demand they get fired? It's gone beyond reasonable boycotting and has devolved into doing everything possible to destroy someone's life for a minor infraction. I still haven't heard that Friday song by Rebecca Black. I remember hearing people talking about there being a song with this girl singing about it being Friday. I thought that was the stupidest fucking thing and dismissed it as not having a chance in hell of making it. Little did I know the impending pop culture phenomenon it would become. I did the same thing with Baby Shark. Somehow, someway, I successfully avoided both songs at the height of their popularity. Do I have a superpower? Scarlett Johansson, SP? The actress for Harley Quinn, and not the actress but the actual MCU version of the Scarlet Witch. Not really anything to do with Scarlett, but more the frenzy around her turns me hardcore away from her stuff. The actress for Harley Quinn, Maggie, gives me massive creeper vibes, and the MCU did the Scarlet Witch dirty. I hate it with a fiery passion and have been trying to psych myself up for a long time to watch the show and catch up before the new movies, which isn't counting the Black Widow movie because I have issues with the two lol. On a different note, something that gets me weird dirty looks and people trying to convince me differently is my absolute hatred for River's song in Doctor Who. Everything from her smiles creeping me out to me feeling like the story is entirely forced to well, everything honestly made me stop watching one of my favorite shows and come to loathe it from everyone trying to force me into liking her anyway. Just about any female celebrity, except Spears and P. Hilton, They are cool. Kardashian / most all-female singers, or all of them IDK. They have to use the electronic filters to sing. That's not singing. J. Bieber. Yeah, let me just cut to the bottom line. Most all celebrities suck. I like P. Hilton though. She is actually very smart and funny when she wants to be. She did a video about politics that was so on target and she delivered it so well. I laughed my ass off. I had tears coming down my face. So yeah, I like her. I've always hated Fortnite. A few years ago it was on the rage at my school and I know that a fortnight is 2 weeks or something, so when everyone was talking about how great it was I just assumed it was a weekend camp. Then I tried to talk to them about it with my knowledge of what it was. Completely wrong. And I destroyed my social life. Everyone thinks I'm a weirdo. I'm fine with that, but I hate Fortnite. I never understand why everyone loves it. About a year after that my cousin got me a Fortnite shirt and one day I had nothing clean so I wore it and it was the weirdest day of my life. Strangers would smile at me, give me high fives, and even try to hug me. I would always say that I hated Fortnite and I got into so many arguments. Practice gratitude, especially when some self-righteous ass preaches this, unasked, as some kind of panacea for all depression and stress, like someone with chronic clinical depression is to blame for it, because they're not grateful enough. Good vibes only, the whole toxic positivity movement. No, I'm not throwing away my antidepressants and firing my therapist because you think all I need is gratitude and happy thoughts and a nice long hike in the local nature center every day. Johnny Wick. It's torture, gore porn. He can headshot you from a mile away, but he chooses to shoot you in the knee and stomach first. For the lulz. The Walking Dead. After 1 month of surviving in a zombie apocalypse, you still can't remember to never let your guard down? The whole show is people forgetting about zombies / infections / stranger danger on a daily basis. Don't go in there, don't make noises, don't put your gun down. Don't forget about the zombies. Like, literally, please remember there are zombies everywhere. Watching ball sports, grown men watching grown men play grab a dollar, while complaining about other men not being manly enough. Soccer, American football, baseball, basketball, tennis, volleyball, and bowling are all boring to watch, but I do like to play all those sports. Most first-person shooting games. As someone who plays games day in and day out, I seriously don't understand why people like them, despite giving the genre so many chances. Can somebody please tell me why people love them so much? Especially with the awful communities most of them create. The only first-person shooters that I can actually, consistently enjoy myself playing are Left 4 Dead 2 and Garry's Mod. Anything else just sucks. The for-profit dissemination of news and information. It's by design set up to engage your eyes and keep you looking at it, and studies have shown outrage sells. So news and information is deliberately manipulated to be more dramatic and outrage you. As a result, people die. We also see division, hyper-accelerated tribalism. An extension of that is social media, and everyone pining for those little hits of dopamine and validation for their lives. It's slowly eroding society at large, and creating mental health crises. It's changing the human race as we know it. And at the risk of sounding like an old man, I wish we could go back and uninvent the smartphone, one of the single most destructive inventions in human history. The use of the word cringe in my native language German. Here in Germany it went so far that the English word cringe now is used in German sentences as an adjective. And I mean cringe and not cringeworthy. So not only people somehow started to popularize an English word for an expression that has been always available in the German language, zum Fremdschämen, they even use it grammatically incorrect. It disturbs my inner peace when I hear the word used like that. Ariana Grande. I know her fans hate when people bring up the donut licking incident, but she also treated Pete Davidson poorly after the breakup, profited off of Mac Miller's death with her music etc. I don't know, she seems pretty fake to me. I also found her song 7 Rings kind of shallow. Never got why that song was a hit and why everyone loves her and thinks she's the sweetest. when she was essentially calling everyone else poor on the radio.